In fiction, most of the time many heroes start off with nothing and pursue something greater. Take characters like Peter Parker, Goku, and Superman. These are fictional characters that started off as nobody until they became somebody in their own world and they became global. Unlike Hector of Troy. No. Hector of Troy is a fictional character in Greek mythology. This man had everything. He had a beautiful wife, a beautiful son, a loving father. He was loved by all. Unlike these fictional characters, Peter Parker starts off as a loser in the beginning. Nobody likes him. He's those nerds, that's usually depicted in movies and all that. Like he's just a loser. He's not loved by everyone. He doesn't know of his parents' whereabouts. He lives with Aunt May and Uncle Ben. For Goku, he's a lower class Saiyan warrior who was sent to Earth because planet Vegeta was going to be destroyed. He's taken in by Grandpa Gohan, and then he's trained. For Superman, formerly known as Kal-El, he was sent to Earth because Krypton was about to explode, and he's raised by farmers. So he was a farm boy. He had nothing. They never lived in royalty. They never came from nobility. They were just ordinary people. But unlike Hector, the Prince of Troy, the eldest son of King Priam, the heir to the throne, beloved by all, beloved by the people, beloved by his parents, beloved by his siblings. Hector had everything. He had everything, something that these characters would desire to achieve in the future. Well, Goku didn't think of that. He was going to get married, but he did get married in the future. Most of the time, fictional characters truly aspire to achieve these dreams in the future. So what truly defined Hector? It was his character. In Homer's Iliad, he is depicted as honorable, compassionate, and selfless. And we see these traits portray these traits throughout his life. He's very honorable. He shows honor to his father, the king. He's compassionate towards his wife and his son, and he's selfless towards his country. Because think about it, any prince that has everything that you could ever imagine, you're living the dream. You're heir to the throne. You have a beautiful wife. You have a beautiful son that who's going to take after you when you die. Basically, you have the kingdom into your hands. Anyone who is placed in this position would be selfish, greedy, and corrupt, but not Hector. And he portrays this throughout his life. And despite his brother Paris making so many mistakes and bringing shame, dishonor to Troy, he still corrects him of his mistakes, but he still loves him as an older brother looking out for his younger brother. And that's what's truly amazing about Hector, that he's such a noble character that every young man would truly aspire to become in the future. And also, he's also admired for his skills in battle and strategic leadership. Keep in mind, the Trojan War, which I will leave a link in the description for those who are interested in learning about the entire story. Link is in the description. He fought in the Trojan War for 10 years. That's how long the war lasted. And he was able to drive back the Greeks back to the shore. And I gotta tell you, that's why he was truly admired. But despite him being honorable, compassionate, and selfless, and also being a good military leader, that's not what actually defined him as one of the greatest characters in fiction. What truly defined him was his death. You see, this is what happened. After Achilles' best friend Patroclus was killed by Hector because Hector thought Patroclus was Achilles. Once again, go watch the whole story of the Trojan War so that you can understand. After Hector killed Patroclus, Achilles was after Hector, and he was after revenge. So he went to Troy. Outside of Troy, he was calling out to Hector. Well, in the book, he chases Hector, but then Hector runs around the city wall 3 times until he runs out of breath. Then he challenges Achilles. They have an epic battle, but unfortunately he loses. And before he dies, he tells Achilles to at least show respect to his body so that his family can properly mourn. Achilles stabs him in the neck with his spear, ties his leg to his chariot, and drags his body around Troy and in order for everyone to see. Hector's death, not only was it a military defeat, but it was a tragic death. His body was publicly humiliated before everyone. So that's what truly defined Hector as one of the greatest fictional characters, even in the face of death. He tells his enemy, hey, I know I'm going to die, and I know I'm going to lose. But at least do me this one favor, treat my body with respect. Achilles didn't. And when King Priam went to Achilles and begged for Hector's body back, Achilles was actually touched by King Priam, because he felt the same way for his best friend Patroclus, and he gave back the body back to King Priam. So that's what truly defined Hector as one of the greatest characters in all of fiction. Can you imagine? He had everything in the beginning. Remember the characters I mentioned? Peter Parker, in some comic books, him and Mary Jane have a happy ending. They have a daughter together. For Goku, he gets married to Chi-Chi, gives birth to Gohan, Gotenks, and he saves the world from Majin Buu. Superman, he saves the world. He ends up with Lois Lane. These characters, they started as nobodies, but in the end, they became somebody. They got the girl. For Peter Parker, he got married, and he has a daughter with Mary Jane. For Goku, he's a married man and he has kids. Superman, he marries Lois Lane, and they do end up having a child. Hector, he already had a wife, he already had a son, but in the end, he dies. So, think about it for a minute. The prince, he was heir to the throne. He had every right to say, no, I'll let all these men die because I am heir to the throne. I am the next heir to Troy. I shouldn't die. In fact, Paris, you should die because you brought shame to our country. You should go fight your own battles. I'm not going to fight for you. No, but he goes in. Even the actor Eric Bana, who played Hector in the movie Troy that was released in 2004, he had to say this about Hector. Listen to this.
I just thought Hector was the most interesting character in the story. I said, Hector, like I love the role of Hector. And he's like, you want to play Hector? Great, because everyone wants to play Achilles. I'm like, no, I don't want to play Achilles, I want to play Hector. He's like, good, because Brad wants to play Achilles. Hector was really just primarily for me about just pure leadership, type A warrior who had a heart as well.
And that's why I believe that Hector is one of the greatest characters in all of fiction.
All my life, I've lived by a code. And the code is simple. Honor the gods, love your woman, and defend your country.
If you made it this far, thank you for watching. And always remember, Johnny K Studios, we're listening.